Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
All right, hello, and welcome to the Week 18 edition of C2C's Morning Tailgate. I almost forgot where I was at today because I'm normally not on. But I'm back this week off of work, so I thought I'd come do a little hosting with these guys and get back in the swing of things. So, Crispy Bacon, what's up, buddy?
Not much. Final week of the regular season. Things are crazy as ever.
Yep. James, how you doing? How you feeling?
On the Cincinnati. I feel good for now. I got to see how it goes, but it's kind of week 18 is always melancholy, especially for my team. It's always the last week of the season, no playoffs. So it sucks, but there's some scenarios here today for some clinching. I can't wait for that.
Yep, exactly. And Tim, I know you had a rough night last night, but how are you doing today?
See, unlike the other three people that I get the luckiness to co-host, my season's over. As of last night,
which we'll get to, yeah.
I don't even want to talk about last night. That was Other than that, I'm good. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. We're not gonna, as me being a Colts fan, we're not gonna bring up Jim Mora. As we did backstage, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, Week 18's got a lot. Chris sent out all the scenarios and stuff, and we'll talk about what started last night and locking up some playoff spots. But our one tough question this week: how do you motivate the teams that don't have any playoff implications for Week 18? I mean, I guess. One hand, can they be spoilers in some playoff stuff? But I guess the teams that just, So Tim, how do you motivate a team that just knows that this is just a preseason game? I guess or not. I don't know how to even explain it.
I'm the guy that wants to tell them, "Hey, you're playing for a job for next year."
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm thinking, dude, you're not. It's like we didn't make the playoffs. Maybe you're the reason why. I'll put that little bug in somebody's head. I'm not afraid. I would say you're playing. You could be playing for a roster spot next year and play spoilers. You know what? Send somebody home. Be happy that you sent somebody home.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, James.
Yeah, everything Tim said, and then also, some players have a lucrative option here. If they get a certain amount of catches or tackle or sack, they get, hundreds, thousands of dollars. So I would just say to those players, hey, I think you know what's going to happen. I'm going to give you every chance to go get it. So don't worry about that. And then for everybody else, especially a young team not making it, say, hey, if you want to be a part of this, show it today. Go out on a bang, make people remember how we finished the season on the high. Let's finish it on a high note. It's also for coaches too. I can think of Antonio Pierce for the Raiders. He's one guy that potentially, hopefully, will keep the job. He'll probably have to show that he'll coach his ass off, and then hopefully he stays. So not only for the players, but it's only for those coaches too. That it's like, hey, we want you to be here. Just show it.
All right, Chris. What about you?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking on the same lines of as Tim. You're playing for your job basically. The players that have this is their last year with the team. If they want to have an extension or a new contract, they have to show what they're worth pretty much. And then you might have those players that need a few more yards to get maybe 1,000 yards. Different incentives on their contract. So it just depends on the scenario, I guess. But mainly just say, hey, playing for next year, show me what you got.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely all on, right track. I think, definitely tell the guys that you're playing for next year. But again, let's just go out there and have fun. I mean, maybe some of these teams just go out and play schoolyard football where design some stupid plays or something, and but there's some rivalries that are still happening. That do you want your rivals to make the playoffs or have a higher seed? So there's definitely things out there that the teams are going to be motivated for. So it'll be interesting to see what these games mean, how they turn out this week. So with that being said, so 2 games kicked off week 18 last night. Steelers Ravens, simple. Steelers had to win to make the playoffs. The Ravens were already locked into the 1 seed. So Steelers did end up winning. Now they need the Buffalo to lose to stay in, right, Chris? Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah. So, yeah, Buffalo or you're saying for yesterday?
Yeah. So what's the current for Steelers right now? What's their current scenario? They're in the playoffs.
Right now they're in, but I'm looking it up now just to make sure. But I believe they need a little bit of help.
Yeah, because I think they still need Buffalo to lose, right?
Yeah,
according to what you wrote. Okay.
So
what you guys think of that game last night, Tim? If you
I saw the fourth quarter. I thought it's exactly what I expected because the Ravens weren't playing anybody. And Deontay Johnson goes off late. I was impressed, but you're basically going against the second string defense for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Problem is the Steelers didn't get out of there without a problem. Now you've got T.J. Watt, who may miss the playoffs completely. I don't know. I'm happy that Pittsburgh won, but it's kind of a bittersweet victory, and I'm looking forward to the Buffalo Bill game. That's this evening for you guys, early morning for me. So I think that's going to be. I hope Pittsburgh gets in. I'd just be happy.
Yep. James, what's your thoughts on?
Sorry, credit to those Raven fans for sticking in there. I mean, all their starters pretty much weren't playing, and they still showed out. And the Steeler fans are coming in. That was really good too. Credit to Najee Harris. Had a touchdown, 112 yards rushing. Deontay Johnson on that long 71-yard touchdown to seal it. Mason Rudolph just played good enough. I mean, all he had to do was those little dump passes to Harris or to Warren, and it really worked out for him. I'm convinced Mitchell Trubisky couldn't have done what Mason Rudolph did yesterday. So at least they kept it Rudolph. It worked out. So the Steelers winning still, keeps our hope alive. And then it gives Mike Tomlin another year because they went 10-7. All they want is to be in the playoff race and have a winning record. That's all that matters to the Steelers organization. And so they showed their standard yesterday, at least.
Yep. Chris, how about you?
No, it was a good game. Weather had a big impact in the game. Looked like a couple missed kicks happened. I would have thought Baltimore could been in the game more, but considering their backup's really good too.
Yep.
But that didn't work out. Pittsburgh won. They still have life in the playoffs now.
Yep. For me, I think the weather played a big factor in it because this rivalry is huge, and you don't want the Steelers to come on your turf and win and make the playoffs. So I think if it wasn't for the weather, you would have saw the starters for a little bit of the first half, and then you would have went to the backups. Because they get the first round bye, so you don't want too much time off. So I think the weather played a big factor in this. Hats off to the Steelers, Tomlin, because we've been talking the last couple of years on a rebuild here since Ben retired. They keep just getting into the playoffs. So again, Tomlin sneaking through. So again, the Steelers are in right now, and it all depends on the game we'll talk about later. The Bills game, Bills Dolphins has a big implication on a lot of things. So, all right. So the second game was the Colts and Texans. Again, you win, you're in. You lose, you're out. You win, you have a chance to clinch the South. If Jacksonville loses, so James, what were your thoughts on that game?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't see the first like 3 quarters, but eventually I got to the last of the game, and just seemed like the Colts just didn't have enough on offense to get it done. They set Jonathan Taylor, I think, the last play of the game on a crucial 4th down. It looked like, man, credit to Houston coming in, making that happen. I guess they're in. Depending on what Jacksonville does today, they could win the division, which would be crazy. I'm Singletary, I guess, had a good game. Nico Collins is, when healthy, he's been good. And then all year long, almost all year long, CJ Stroud has been really good. He threw for over 260 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was really good. Minshew didn't do much yesterday. I was kind of disappointed by that. Jonathan Taylor, he ruled the world yesterday for the Colts offense. Literally, it was just him, it looked like. So credit to Houston getting it done. That was a shocker to me.
Yeah, Chris, how about you?
Yeah, it was a shocker. I think I had Indy winning, but it was a close game. I think 1 point there's a couple missed kicks, but it was a close game in general. But I think Indianapolis could have had that.
Yeah, Tim, being the lone Indiana or Colts fan here, your thoughts? I know you kind of talked a little bit backstage what you did, but so what's your thoughts?
I thought they were moving when the beginning of the game. I thought they were moving the ball down the field well. At the beginning, they had that nice 10 play drive, ended in a field goal. You don't want a field goal at that spot. You want a touchdown. And then you give the ball back. You give Houston a shot, and first play from scrimmage, they throw a 75-yard pass to Nico Collins for a touchdown. You find the perfect. You get the perfect defense to go against that route. Yeah, that was right there to me. Was like, yeah, we were in for a long day, and then it was 7-3 going into at the end of the first. Then you sit there and Singletary. Nico Collins gets the second. I want to double check that. No. It was back blown coverage because you got the nickel back, your nickel covering the flats with a on a safety. So you got a tight end flowing through the back of the end zone for pretty much a touchdown where nobody's covering the tight end in the back of the end zone. And I'm like, well, that's just going to be one of those days. And then we get a field goal late in the quarter, so to make it go 14-6 at halftime. At that point, we hadn't converted a single third down, which was terrible, turns into a running theme in this entire stupid game. And then they come out, and the defense comes out. The Colts defense comes out and just punches them in the mouth, gets the ball back, goes in, and then you get Taylor from 49 yards out, gets a touchdown on a 49-yard rush. And then you get and then Minshew comes in, gets a 2-point conversion with a jump pass. And I'm thinking, okay, we've got a game. And it was just the whole thing was we had all that momentum. And then Jerry Hughes, who is a draft pick of the Colts, who we had traded to Buffalo for years back, gets hurt and kills the momentum. Absolutely kills the momentum.
Yep.
It's everything. You kind of hope everything keeps rolling because the defense were on their heels. Hughes goes down, all the momentum stops. At that point, we miss a field goal from 57. and then Houston gets the ball back, kicks themselves a field goal, and then they turn around and push comes to shove. We made so many stupid mistakes. We didn't throw to Alec Pierce. We threw to Justin. We threw to Josh Downs 3 times. We Pittman caught 3 passes in a row, and then it seemed like we had gone away from him. Jonathan Taylor goes for 188. It was amazing. And then on a 4th and 1 play, I don't argue the play. I don't argue the play call. I think it was right because at that point, everybody at Lucas Oil Fields knows that Taylor's in. They're going to run the football. I get that. I don't like the fact is that Taylor's on the sidelines, but we're a top 3 team in the NFL in RPO, and we don't run an RPO on a 4th and 1. You get Goodson coming out of the backfield on a shotgun, and then he turns around, can't catch a football. He's got the first down, if not walks into the end zone, and the game ends. And it's just like I'm happy we went 9-8. And the funny thing is, I went back and looked at my preseason record for the Indianapolis Colts, and I had them going 9-8 and missing the playoff with the 10th best record in the AFC. I can't pick that again if I tried. I'm happy. I'm happy for what we did. I'm not happy at the end. I hope Houston goes in there. I hope Houston wins the South, to be honest. This is a team that's way ahead and way ahead of where they should be. Disappointed, yeah. Goodson taking the blame like he should, but people who are watching, don't send death threats to Goodson. He's still a person. Yeah. I think that's ridiculous, but all in all, I'm happy for our season. I'm 9-8. I wasn't expecting looking at the playoffs. I wasn't looking at an AFC South title. You were telling me this at the beginning of the year, saying we're going for an AFC South title. I'd be thinking you're on some Willie Nelson type stuff, and I'm absolutely happy. I'm absolutely happy. I'm just glad it wasn't the Raiders that took us out this year. I was just really happy it was something else.
Yeah. No, I get you, Tim. And, yeah, that game was back and forth. But, yeah, it came down to that last play, which definitely I agree was the right call to do. Wrong player might have been the target. I don't know why Taylor's on the bench.
I think he was injured off and on. I thought he was injured.
He was injured off and on, but that's a moment that you don't put your star player on the bench.
He was on but the thing is, he was on the 3rd down play when they took him out. At this point, I don't put Goodson in. I put Zach Moss in because Zach Moss is still a receiving back out of the backfield. I know he was questionable coming into this game, but yet he still showed out. He still put up 30, 40 yards. Rushing, why not? And he can catch out of the backfield. I would have put him in instead.
Yep, exactly. So, all right. So let's get into the games. We're just going to pick the games that mean the playoffs. We'll go over the playoff scenarios. And then at the end, we'll do our yearly awards. So first, we'll kick off with the Tampa Bay Carolina game. Of course, this only means anything for Bucks.
Yeah, Carolina.
So the Bucks make the playoffs
if they win, but
Bucks
that's all they can get.
Yep. So the Bucks can only win the AFC South with the win. Bucks got the playoff spot with the win, along with the Seahawks loss and the Packers loss. So, guys, who you got in this game? Tim, we'll start with you.
God, I want to say the Panthers. I really do, but I don't. I've got the Bucks. Just if this game would be a lot more interesting if Carolina hadn't already clinched the number 1 pick for the Bears. It's nice. I've got the Bucks, but I really don't see the Carolina Panthers playing spoiler in this game.
Yeah. James?
Yeah, I'm the same thing with Tim. It'd be awesome. We just talked about it where a team, a young team that doesn't have anything to play for, what's the motivation to play the last game? And this is kind of the same thing with Carolina. I expect them to give them a run at home. But I think Tampa Bay, I know Baker Mayfield, man. He let me down last week. And there's a wonder why, okay, he only makes $4 million and he hasn't had a long-term contract in a while. Well, this is kind of why. But today he has a chance to freaking prove that and turn that around. So, yeah, I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
All right. Chris?
Yeah, I got Tampa Bay. I don't think Carolina's going to be. I mean, they're going to be at the game, but I don't think they're going to be in the game. I think they're waiting on for next season.
Yeah. Again, like we talked about earlier, how do you motivate this team? I mean, they have nothing to play for. The number one seed's already locked up for the Bears, like Tim said. Unless you really want to stick it, I mean, unless there's some real bad blood between Bucks and the Panthers, you know. But again, Bucks are coming to Carolina, so do they not want to have the away team win? So, but yeah, I think the Bucks are gonna take this one pretty handily. I think so. So the next game in the South too. This one definitely got big implications. So it looks like that either team, Seattle, or I'm sorry, it's Atlanta and the Saints. So either team wins, they have a chance to win the South. With of course some other things happening. Bucks, of course, have to lose.
Yeah, that's the big one.
This game is definitely going to be a big one here. And I think that's the only way I'm seeing, unless, of course, the Packers, Seattle. Right. Yeah.
No.
So
it's the only way they can get in. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a win you're in, lose you're out kind of scenario. There's still some things that happen. So guys, James, Falcons, Saints, who do you got?
God, at this point, both of these teams can tie the way that they let everyone down. It almost feels like you don't want any of them to make it. For me, I kind of want, Tampa Bay to make it, just so we don't have to see these two teams that they can move on. Man, the Falcons, just for one game, they gotta have, I think, Heineke's starting today. I hope. They gotta get everyone involved. I mean, it's an indoor environment. There shouldn't be any problems. I want to see one game where, hey, Drake London gets involved. Excuse me, Kyle Pitts, the running backs. I would love to see that. And then for the Saints, man, it goes back to Derek Carr and what he's not able to do and what Taysom Hill can do. I have more confidence maybe in the Falcons. I'm going to go Atlanta.
Go ahead, Tim. I'm here.
All right. Yeah, James probably said it best. I've never seen two more teams play more schizophrenic in my life this season. It's these two. I think I'm in the opposite direction of James, though. I think golly, this game. You're right. I would rather this be a tie, but if I have to pick somebody, and are you twisting my arm that I got to pick somebody? If I have to, I got to take the Saints.
So okay, so let's say they do tie. Bucks lose. So then we got to go down to the tiebreakers, and I would guess head to head. I think that's where it will come down to. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does.
So and again, maybe a tie and the Bucks win the division. I don't know. So Chris, what's your thoughts on this game and who you got?
New Orleans is at home. Normally the home teams are favored. That's kind of where I'm heading towards. It's also interesting that if Atlanta loses, they might be parting with their coach.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. But I'm going New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm going with the home team too. This is going to be one of the most important games of both teams for the season. And the Bucks front office is going to be watching the game because I don't know the time slots right now, but they're going to be scoreboard watching too to see what happens with them, especially if they're in a tight game. So it'll be interesting on that game. All right, so the Lions and the Vikings. Vikings have, I think, a 3% chance of making the playoffs if they win. They got a whole bunch of things to. Everybody ahead of them has to lose with them to win. So they have to win. Seattle, Packers, Bucks all have to lose. The Lions could get the number 2 seed, which they got robbed a couple weeks ago of, if they win and the Cowboys and Eagles lost. So they're locked into the 3 seed. So Tim, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on this game?
Well, Big B, I'm going to tell you 3% is practically walking out the door at this point. Oh gosh, there was a line in Dumb and Dumber that said, "So you say there's a chance."
Yep.
I think that chance is almost a sneeze away. I think it's like having a cold. Here's the problem: Lions are playing for something.
Yep. They stated that they're playing everybody.
I think they're locked in. They're locked in
at the 3 seed, but they can move up.
They can move up to the 2.
Yeah.
And a couple things that fall in their lap.
Yeah, they've already said they're playing everybody. They're not.
Yeah. I like the Lions. I really like the Lions.
James?
Yeah, I'm going Detroit as well. I think they want to make up for last week and make sure to score. And all year long they've been going for 2 or doing something crazy like that. And I think they just want to get past that as fast as they can and score a lot of points. Might be a blowout in Detroit. It's a banner game as well, from what I heard. They already put up the divisional banner already, so I think they'll have something before the game about that. So there's motivation to play for that, and then also to try to get that number 2 seed. But I think Dallas has to lose against Washington in order for that to happen.
Yeah. Dallas and the Eagles both have to lose if Detroit wins to get the
and the Eagles. Yikes. Okay.
Yeah. Chris?
Ooh, I had Detroit.
You want your Cowboys to get that number 2 seed, so
I would. But now that you said they already got the banner hanging, it makes me want to switch. But I'm going to stick with the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions too. And this is if I was to make a guarantee this week, this would be it. The Vikings are going to lose. All the teams behind them are going to lose, and all I'm going to hear on local radio is all the Vikings had to do is win. See, everybody else lost. The Vikings had to win. That's just how bad the Vikings are. So Lions are going to win. I don't know if it'll be a blowout, but it'll probably be a good 2-score game because the Vikings have nothing to play for. I mean, yeah, they win. They got to hope for everybody to lose ahead of them. That's not going to happen. So Lions are going to win. Lions are going to – I don't know if they'll get the number 2 seed. But, yeah, they're going to be a force to reckon with in the playoffs, I think. So good luck to them. So we're all in agreement. Lions are going to win that one. All right. So back to the AFC games. Jacksonville Titans. Titans have nothing to play for. Jacksonville wins. They lock up the South. And I think they have to get a playoff spot too. So a win. And
all right.
So, Chris, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah. We talked about earlier on what did the Titans have to prove in this game? Well, all of these games are divisional rivalry games right now. You don't want your rival in the playoffs, meaning Jacksonville. You're also playing for maybe free agency. Who do you got on free agency, and what their value is? But I'm going Jacksonville.
James?
Man, what bugs me, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, and Trevor Lawrence are all questionable for today. If you don't have those
Ooh.
three, maybe we'll know before the show here, but man, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. If those three aren't playing, I would have to say with Jacksonville. And we actually have an update here about Trevor Lawrence, his shoulder. He's active and expected to start. So I guess I'll go with Jacksonville, but I wouldn't be shocked if the tight ends and Derrick Henry go out well. And, I'm guessing they're going to give it to Henry at least 25 times today just to go out and show what he has as a free agent, too. He might look really, really impressive, but I'm going to go with Jacksonville. That they have more at stake in this game.
Yep. Tim?
I'm well, I'm not making it a clean sweep. I look at it.
Oh,
go ahead.
No, Kirk is inactive today. That also popped up for the Jags.
Okay.
Damn.
All right.
It's funny because last year, the team that took Tennessee out of playing for a division last year, AFC South division last year, was Jacksonville. Tennessee, that would have been Tennessee's third straight division title. And Jacksonville took it away from them. There's a little bit of hatred there. And I just want to see it so bad. I just want to see this so bad. I've got Tennessee. The AFC South are a bunch of vengeful son of a bitches. I think Tennessee. I think Tennessee is gonna show out. I think Derrick Henry goes out with a bang this year. Much like James said, I think I like Tennessee. This was a game I was going to watch if Indy had won this morning for me, last night for you. I may still watch that game just for it. Yeah, I think Houston wins the AFC South after this.
Okay. With the injury updates, I want to see Jacksonville do it. They're a young team. I think as long as they keep people around, they'll be good. But I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think how much Henry gets the ball will be determined in the first few quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Probably quarter and a half, first few drives, I meant. Because if he's balling out and running all over, they're just going to keep giving him the rock every other play, like James said. So I'm gonna go Tennessee in this one. So that means Houston would win the division, which good for them.
Ooh.
All right, so let's go to the big rivalry of the night day. Packers Bears. Bears have nothing to play for except sticking it to the Packers. I think if they lose, their pick goes up more, so they might have a little bit to lose. I guess I don't know.
They already got the number one pick.
Yeah, but then they also got their pick too. So
Yeah,
they got their original pick that could be a top 5 or something. So Packers have all they have to do is win and they're in. So I wish we had J-Mac or Ace on here to kind of talk about it. But Tim, I mean, we both know that both of our families have some Green Bay ties. So what are we hoping for here?
I would have taken the Bears if Justin Fields hadn't opened his mouth and put billboard fodder for the billboard for this game.
Yep.
Sometimes it's better just to shut your mouth and play the football game. Now you've gone and done something stupid. Now you gave something for the Packers to play for. Which would be great because that'd be his last words as a Chicago Bear. They saying something like that. I've got Green Bay. I didn't think I'd be picking Green Bay this late in the season, and especially taking a playoff spot. Yeah, I've got Green Bay.
James?
I guess I do too. It'd be something to see Chicago go into Green Bay and win. I mean that would be amazing. But I guess I don't see that happening. But credit to Justin Fields though. He's been balling the last
Yep.
4 to 5 weeks. He's made it tough for Chicago, their brass, to say, hey, if you want to trade me, I'm going to make myself look good for whomever else. The running game is back for Chicago. DJ Moore is good for like 3 or 4 games a year. Maybe this will be the game. I want to see Komet have a role with the Bears, but I don't know if that's going to happen though. But Green Bay, Jordan Love, up and down, and right now he's up. I guess I'll go with Green Bay because they have more to play for, but hopefully Chicago goes out and makes it a really close game, and hopefully the Bears look good. I mean, they need something going into next, just like last year. They looked really good going out. They're going to probably do that again, hopefully, but I'm not going with the upset. I got to go Green Bay.
Chris?
All right, I got. Did you get the breaking news, or did I?
What
Alvin
breaking news?
Kamara is out today.
And Taylor Heineke as well for Atlanta, so it will be Desmond Ridder starting for Atlanta. Yikes!
And for
wow.
Tennessee, before I get to my pick, Tennessee will not play Levis. It's Tannehill.
Yeah, it's Tannehill. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But
So Chris,
I got Green Bay. I got some Bears ties, but I'm going Green Bay. I think this is going to be an interesting game for Chicago if they can move up in the playoff, positions and maybe get a win in Green Bay.
yeah, this one's gonna be a tough game for divisional purpose because we know Bear fans don't like Packer fans, Packers don't like Bear fans. Bears are gonna want to. I mean, the Bear fans want to win just to hurt the Packers some more. But I think the Packers are going to do it at home. I'd probably flip flop if it was in Soldier Field. But yeah, Packers are going to come out. And like I said, the Vikings are going to lose. So this would be the way the Bears would start sticking it to the whole division is to beat the Packers. But I think the Packers are going to do it. All right. So now we get to the Cowboys versus the Commanders. Cowboys are in the playoffs. If they win, they clinch the East. If they lose, and Philly wins, Philly clinches the East. So, Chris, I'll start with you on this one. What's your thoughts?
That's a road game, unfortunately. Cowboys have not been good on the road. Yeah, they got that one win in New York beginning of the year, but I believe after that they just struggled, and they're normally good at home. I mean, most teams are, but you shouldn't be this bad on the road. It looked like it was going to be a rainy field again, which is not good. Hopefully that gets taken care of by kickoff. Unfortunately, the teams that are not in the playoffs, they seem to play really well because they have nothing to prove. But I'm going Dallas.
Shocker. James.
Yeah, I'm going Dallas as well to win the East. Excuse me. And left guard Tyler Smith will be out for Dallas, so look for that to be. I don't know if it would be an issue, but Dak would have to get the ball out quicker, and then the running game would have to go probably more on the right side. Man, for Washington somehow has one more chance to prove maybe he's the guy. They just got to keep him upright. But, man, that Cowboy defense is going to get at him maybe 5 times today. It's been a season of pain. He's been the king of pain for Sam Howell and the Commanders. I know they want to kind of lose to get a better pick there, so I think that's going to happen. I'm going Dallas.
Tim.
Yeah, they're definitely not playing to keep Ron Rivera's job at this point. It's crazy because everybody knows that Ron Rivera is probably pretty much going to be fired after the 4-0s tonight. They might be nice. They might give him tomorrow. Other than that, this is the one where you're interviewing. This is the game. This is one of those games we were talking about earlier where you're interviewing for a job next year. You're going to be interviewing for a new coach. I think Dallas is going to amp it up. I think Dallas has got the right opponent to do that with. I think they win the East tonight.
All right. Yeah, this is one game too. My pick might determine an earlier game if the Lions win, because then I want to see the Cowboys lose. But I think definitely the Cowboys are going to not put the pedal to the metal, but I think they're going to just rev it up here and there and stick it to Commanders. Commanders, again, like you said, Rivera's probably coaching his last game. The boxes are packed. So, yeah, that just stinks right there. So let's get into the other NFC game, East side. Eagles, Giants. The Eagles win. They've already got playoff spot, but if they win, they get the East with the Cowboys loss. So, Chris, this is still kind of your division. So, what are you thinking?
I hope that New York wins it. I'm picking the Giants. I really hope they win it. That's all.
All right, James.
Oh, earlier this year, I remember the Eagles came into Jersey and lost to the Jets. I mean, that the way that they're playing right now is really, really awful. So,
4 or 5 games they've lost. Yeah.
That's not good going into the playoffs. I don't care if you got a spot or not. But I think Philly does enough. But I do want to see Tyrod Taylor and Barkley link up. Might be the last game for Saquon Barkley for the Giants. Who knows? I'm going to go with Philadelphia, but it might come down to a Elliott field goal.
Okay. Tim?
If I were the scoreboard guy at East Rutherford, the game I would not be putting the scoreboard on the scoreboard would be that Cowboys game. Just to play psychological mind tricks to the Eagles.
That's good.
I would do that left and right. I think we've said it, like you've said it, that they've lost what? 4 of their last 5.
Yep.
This is the team that we had basically between them and we had already crowned them as Super Bowl champions. Holy smokes! This has been a tailspin that I don't think we've seen in a while, since maybe the Dolphins from last year. They got to figure it out, and the team they can figure it out with is the Giants. I think the Eagles win, and and again, it's one of those the Giants could play spoilers. All they're doing is spoiling a championship at this point. I've got the Eagles, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be. I think this is going to be close. Again, my pick is would be different if we were doing this live after the Vikings game. But yeah, I think the Eagles are going to win this one in a close one. But again, they haven't played good, so it would not shock me if the Giants pull this out, or we have some miraculous C2C tie. I don't know, but I want to see the Giants do it, but I think Eagles are going to do it. I think that's going to be a good game. All right, so let's get up to the Rams-Niners game. Niners have 0 to play for.
And
so
they're
I would
resting,
assume,
they're resting
let's
Purdy.
Yeah, I was going to say unless there's some, I think the rest did everybody. I would say so. The Rams win. They get in. They get the 6th seed. If they lose, they get the 7th seed. So they must have the playoffs locked up. So
yeah,
with that being said, they're golden. Okay, so Tim, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, they've got Puka, but they're going to not have Cup. So for the Rams, I have the Rams because the 49ers are resting
Okay.
everybody, the water boy, the cheerleaders, the video staff. Basically, San Francisco is going to throw a Madden team out there on rookie. I think the Rams win this, and they're going to get the 6th seed. But it's nobody. This is one of those games they're basically not playing for anything because they both pretty much clinched a spot. It's at this point, do you get the Lions or do you get the Eagles and the Cowboys? That's all you're playing for at this point.
Exactly.
I got the Rams though.
James? All right, James.
I wish there was more at stake, but there isn't. Other from the 5th round pick this year for LA, Puka Nacua, he needs, I forget, he's 22 years of age, but he needs a certain amount of yards to get the rookie record. That's just unbelievable. Of yards in a season. That's going to be amazing to think. And he's already, he's top 10 in the league. It's a pretty cool story for Puka Nacua. I guess that's maybe the only story to talk about. I'm trying to get the numbers. But, Sam Darnold, I think, will start for San Francisco. So I know he's been in there before. Let's see. This record has lasted 60 years. He just needs 29 yards, and then they can sit him down. So hopefully they get that to him by the first quarter, because they really need him when it comes playoff time. So, and just credit to LA, man. They came in and not much was expected, but Stafford had a renaissance kind of a year, so that was really good to see. I guess I'll go with LA.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I'll go LA. I don't think the 49ers will do much, by sitting Purdy.
Yeah,
I mean, they could win it. But I think the Rams will go ahead and win this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna differ. I think the Niners are gonna win. I think they're just gonna do enough just to win the game. I think the Rams, even if it was a different backup, then I'd probably think differently. But you got Donald there. He can still sling it. He can still manage. I think the Niners are gonna do just enough to win it. Holy buckets! We got Tim's brother on here. What's up, guys? Happy New Year's. So, Ryan, you got to listen to what your brother said about your Packers earlier. It was bad. So, but anyway, so let's get into the game that I'm most intrigued about because I don't think I've ever recalled a scenario like this. But we will get to the Dolphins side. They win. They clinch the AFC East title. They'll clinch the number 2 seed. If they lose, they get the number 6 seed. Buffalo, on the other hand, if everything's up to date, Buffalo wins. They're in the playoffs. They get the division. They lose. They are out of the playoffs. I don't think I've ever heard of a playoff scenario like that. And Ryan's got a question for Tim. How about them Colts?
Can I change my pick?
We got J-Mac also on too. But anyway.
Can I change my pick?
Which one?
Packers, Bears one.
Tim, we'll start with you. So, Tim, we'll start with you on this game. What do you got?
Well, according to the reports, no Waddle and no Mostert for Miami. Right there's already a nice little shot in the arm for any Buffalo Bills fans. But as a person from the former AFC East when the Colts were in the AFC East, yes, it always comes back to my Indianapolis Colts. Just so you know, I still think that again we're talking about the Dolphins playing for something, Buffalo playing for something. Dolphins already in, which is hilarious, but you're playing for a division championship. I think the Dolphins win.
James?
God, hearing that Mostert and Waddle's out, it feels like last week where Miami's already lost a lot of key defensive players. They lost Bradley Chubb last week in the fourth quarter of a blowout, so that was not good to see. Man, I just feel like Buffalo has all the momentum right now. I think they're going to win this game, have everything going for them at the right time. You know, I just remember, 5-6 weeks ago they were out of it, but people were saying if they were somehow going to get in it, they could make something happen. So I'm going to go Buffalo.
All right, Chris?
Yeah, so basically, whoever wins this game gets the division.
Yep.
But if Buffalo loses, they're out. That's basically the easiest scenario possible. I'm going Buffalo. I think they can do it under the primetime lights and see what happens.
I don't know. It just seems like big games. Buffalo's kind of faltered a little bit. I know they had a couple nice wins recently. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I want to see Buffalo be this game where you lose, you're out of the whole playoffs, but if you win, I don't know. I think that's just going to be too much for them. I think the Dolphins are going to take this one. I know that a couple receivers James just mentioned are out, but I still think the Dolphins are going to win this one. They're at home. They got the home field. I know they don't have too much to play for. They already got a playoff spot, but knock the Bills out of the playoffs, I think is going to be huge for Buffalo or Miami. So I'll take Miami. So, Ryan, sorry, Tim. Thought you were talking trash about earlier than he was, but all right. So, guys, we got a few minutes left. Let's do our annual C2C awards. Got some cool categories, but we definitely got the main one. Again, this is who we would like to see win. This is our picks. This ain't who we, because most likely we already know who the MVP is. But anyways, so we'll start with the impact player. I don't care how you guys really did this. I didn't really just, somebody who you thought, might not have been MVP category, but definitely impacted his team. Tim, so who are you giving your first Uzi to?
My first Uzi. I am going to go to a wide receiver who was on pace to set an NFL receiving record. Be the first guy to receive for 2,000 yards and then just kind of. My impact player is Tyreek Hill.
Oh, I like that one.
Ooh.
James, who are you giving the chair to? We'll call your awards the chair.
This is like the MVP, right? So
just the impact player,
player. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So not the MVP. So I'll go with oh man. All right, I'll give this award to CJ Stroud just because obviously the Texans, they did a little bit to form something around him, and maybe it's more of a whole, but it shows you at the important position of the team.
Yep.
CJ Stroud just did so well, and it was what Bryce Young was supposed to be. So I think with having Stroud there, Houston definitely just took over. So, yeah, I'm going to CJ Stroud.
All right, Chris, what Cowboy are you picking for the impact player?
No Cowboy.
All right.
We'll go Joe Flacco of the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh, good
they
one.
turned that team around, or he did, and I think he's been an impact player for them, leading them to a playoff.
Wow, Ryan. Wow. Cousins because they gave the Vikings his false hope. Wow. Which, honestly, I can see where he's kind of coming from because he was in the MVP race. He went down.
That's right.
But I'm going to, if you guys watch C2C, me and Tim kind of throw curveballs here. And I got a big one here because it was week 1. Rodgers goes down 4 plays, and the Jets do nothing to improve that team. So my impact player is Aaron Rodgers, just because I don't know if the Jets were afraid to upset him or what, but I just think that Aaron, 4 plays in, you still had a lot to play for. If you thought your team was good enough, all you had to do is go out and get a quarterback. So I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers as an impact player because the Jets, I don't think wanted to upset him. So
remember, Flacco called the Jets to say, "Hey, you need
yeah,
me."
he did, and they said no.
Now they're
J
looking
Mac,
back.
you know why the Vikings are purple? Yeah, because they like to choke. I get they're going to choke today too. So they have a 3% chance of making the playoffs. So
I wonder if the
all
Jets
right.
are looking back and going, "We should have signed Flacco."
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that 4 plays into the game, you lose your star quarterback. All you gotta do is go make a move. If you guys thought you were a quarterback away, I don't get it. So, all right. So let's go to the surprise team. You guys could do either 1 or 2, a good one, a bad one. So James, we'll start with you. Your chair goes to who?
All right, so Houston Texans, no doubt about it. It might be clean sweep for some of these awards, but man,
Yep.
they're doing everything I thought Carolina would do, but more. I had Carolina, at least being respectable, especially in that division. Who knows what could have happened? But Houston just totally turned everything around in one season. It's been so much fun to watch, but even with some bumps on the road, they've been amazing. So the disappointing team, man, there's a lot of candidates. Tennessee, Cincinnati, Denver,
Carolina.
and even Carolina too. Yeah, Carolina's been bad all year. Giants were a 1-year wonder. The Saints, get what you get basically. I guess Carolina, just because they had the first pick, they had some expectations. They went out and signed veterans, just like Houston did, but not the. I mean, they signed the name brand ones, and they couldn't do anything in Carolina. So those are mine.
All right, Chris, who you got for your crispy bacons?
Yeah. My disappointing team will probably be probably Carolina. They had, like James said, they had big expectations with their first overall pick. Didn't work out. And then I guess on the good side it's between Cincinnati and Cleveland because I'll probably go Cleveland.
Okay.
You have players going down right and left. You had to find replacements, and you did, and you found a way to get to the playoffs.
Yep. All right, Tim, your 2 Usies. Who they go to?
My two Usies. Well, I'm pretty much gonna say my disappointing team of the year because they have already claimed themselves as NFL champions, Super Bowl champions before they even snapped the football. That's the New York Jets. Because they already had, we got guys out there getting Super Bowl champion tattoos, and they haven't even played it down yet. We also have this thing on another show that it ain't C2C unless we're sniping.
Yeah.
The guy next to me there sniped my surprise team on the good side. I've got the Houston Texans.
Yep. Yeah, my disappointing team. I know they're in the playoffs still, but there's something going on with Kansas City this year. Just don't seem to be the right team. So they kind of disappointed me a little bit, just kind of up and down. I guess I think Kelsey's kind of addressed the issue a little bit. So and they could say it's the Taylor Swift effect. I don't know, but disappointing in Kansas City. Yeah, Tim, you're right. C2C, you're not sniping, and James got it first, and so did J-Mac. Houston, Texas. Right now they're in the driver's seat for the division, which shocked me. But all right, so let's go to the game of the year. Chris, we'll start with your Bacon Award. Who do you got for game of the year?
Yeah, I got that. What was it? 70+ point game against the Broncos when the Dolphins did that like in week 3. That's probably my game of the year.
All right, James.
Okay, personally, my game of the year, of course, was the blowout win against the Chargers in Vegas. It was 63-21 Thursday Night Football. That felt good. That felt like a release. Also, the Christmas game in Kansas City. I mean, you never beat Kansas City. And there's my Jason there. But yeah, those two. And then the NFL game of the year would probably be that Bills and Philadelphia game that came down to a field goal to force overtime, and then they went down and won the game for Philadelphia in the rain too, and the Eagles had their sweet '90s throwbacks on, so that was awesome.
All right, Tim, you're Uzi.
All right. We're since James is doing a personal one, I'm going to do a personal one too, because it just seems fair, and I don't like to be one up. I'm only joking. The personal one is when Indy took Baltimore to overtime.
Yes.
I thought we were going to get demolished in that game, and yet we got a team that's a 1 seed in the conference, and we took them to overtime, which started. And that's the thing that's that little flicker of hope that you needed. My game of the year for the NFL is the Super Bowl rematch between Kansas City and Philadelphia, where Kansas City was down by 10 at halftime and come back to win 38-35.
Okay. For me, I'm not going to go personal as the Vikings because they never had a game of the year this year. But a personal pick of mine, because I was getting laughed at by people from C2C here, and even people when I told them about it. And that was the week 1 game, Detroit and Kansas City, where I almost would have put the house on Detroit was to win that game, and they did. But for me, the game of the year, James might have to join C2C Ranko because he sniped mine. Bills-Eagles, that week 12 game where it went into overtime and the Eagles won it. So
that was a good game, yeah.
That was a good game. So let's go. I got a category here, the oops of the year. So this could be anything from players, plays, calls, whatever. So Tim, what is your oops of the year?
Oh, it started way back in April when Bacon and I were doing the draft, and this little team called the Carolina Panthers decided to draft a midget instead of CJ Stroud.
Oh, you're going that far back. Nice. James, your oops of the year.
Damn it. I don't want to. There's nothing personal, but it's just the way the tone of the game happened and the result of it. But remember last Sunday night where Kirk Cousins came out shirtless with the sun? They're doing the skull chant and everybody's getting into it. And then the Vikings just laid an egg, basically. So they did all that hype for nothing. So that just felt like a blooper. So
I loved it. I'm glad. I thought about putting that down too, but yeah, that's a good one. Crispy, your oops of the year. You're making goals too.
For the New York Jets, having faith that Rodgers was coming back.
All year long. Oh, God.
All
Hell
year
yeah.
long, yeah.
I almost thought you were going to say this one that J-Mac put. Giants putting faith in Daniel Jones. So my oops of the year, Chris, I hate to pick on your Cowboys, and I think you would agree, but the refs blowing that ineligible receiver and really not taking, I think that just hurt. But yeah, the refs missing that ineligible call. I just think that whole fiasco was just big time miss.
Yeah.
The James one that he had, that was a good one. I like that one. So let's get into the main awards. Let's go Rookie of the Year, offensive and defensive side. So Chris, Chris, I'll start with you. Your offensive defensive Rookie of the Year.
Offensive rookie of the year would probably be Stroud.
Okay.
Defense. I'm not quite sure on defense.
Okay, no problem. James?
Offensively, Puka Nakua with 5 touchdowns, 101 receptions, 1,445 yards, and again, he only needs 29 yards to break that record. It's been stunning seeing him work with Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. And I look at this too, a 65.5 catch rate. That means he's dependable. You can put him in the slot. You can put him, outside and go deep or go over the middle. Uh, Normally, someone like that doesn't catch on until like the second or third year, but he's fit in so well in a place where they really, really needed him. I mean, you could arguably say he's the most important player just because of what they needed. And credit to the Rams, they don't have a lot of first round picks, but damn it, they hit on all of like their second round, third rounders, fourth rounder, fifth rounders. They've hit on a lot of them, especially defensively. And Puka Nakua is just one offensively that they're going to have for years, and it's really good to see.
Yep. Tim? Wait, James, you need your defensive guy.
Sorry. Defensively, Jalen Carter out of Georgia, Dog, the defensive tackle from Philadelphia. He came in with all the off the field issues. The Eagles still came out and gave him that vote of confidence drafting him. And, 6 sacks were great, 2 forced fumbles, 30 tackles, 9 quarterback hits, and he even has a return for a touchdown. They needed him to be impactful because they lost so much defensively. Yep. Javon Hargrove went over to the 49ers, and that's probably going to be the difference. Even though the Eagles have struggled offensively and defensively, he really hasn't. It's been, Bradbury. It's been Reddick. It hasn't been Carter. So he's been on the way to start him.
Okay, Tim, your Usis.
Yeah. I'm getting used to being sniped at this point. My offensive rookie, it's C2C. If we're not getting sniped, and Bacon sniped mine with CJ Stroud. I didn't realize this until last night that he leads the league in touchdown to interception ratio, second in passing yards per game, only behind Tua. What he's done to Houston is what J.J. Watt wished would have happened while he was there. Golly, just if C.J. Stroud was there instead of, I'm not a big Deshaun Watson fan, and that keeps proving my point season after season. I think this team would have won a lot more AFC South titles. For my defensive rookie of the year, I'm going to start sounding like a Houston fan base here in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Will Anderson. I didn't realize until last night that he led the rookies in QB pressures. He played last night with a high ankle sprain. That kid showed out. I'm impressed by him. This defense, like I said, it's a young defense. It's going to get better, and he's got the greatest. I know, I'm surprised too. I think and he's got the great mentor there with D'Amico Ryans. I think a lot of things going to happen. And they have nothing but glowing things to say about Will Anderson. So, yeah, Will Anderson is my defensive rookie of the year.
All right. Yeah, both mine have been taken. Definitely CJ Stroud for what he's done in Houston. I think after draft, we all talked about how he's just going to be dangerous in a couple of years. They turned it around right away. There's still some growing, issues. Next year will be a big year for them to see how they rebound. But James, I think you had Jalen Carter as your rookie of the year. But he just he filled a big hole there. He produced. There's definitely still some producing that he could do down the road. So they keep that defense together. He's going to be a big factor. Coach of the year, Tim, your Usi goes to.
I think this one's going to be pretty obvious. I think this one's even going to be huge in the NFL world too. When you do something that hasn't been done since Wayne Fontes was at Detroit, you kind of walked yourself in. I kind of hope it would be Stefanski or D'Amico Ryans, but I think it's going to be Dan Campbell from Detroit.
Ooh.
Okay. James?
Damn, it's really between Dan Campbell and D'Amico Ryans. I mean, I guess you convinced me. When you do something you haven't done in a while, then you do it, and you win a division pretty handily. You already turned things around. It's a 5-year deal, and he's in the third year of this. And when you only went probably 1 and whatever or 2 and whatever the first year, you make your impact last year, but then you just break down the door this year.
Nope.
I gotta give it to Dan Campbell of Detroit.
All right, Chris?
I'll go. I like Campbell too, but I'll go with Stefanski in Cleveland.
Chris, do we need to start sending you Cleveland stuff or what?
No, I don't know. I just I'm looking through the list and I'm thinking, well, that happened, that happened. So
I like the Campbell pick, but I'd like to see him go coaches because I think D'Amico Ryan definitely let me but D'Amico Ryan's definitely in Houston. Definitely, I think is going to put up a battle. But I think Campbell or Ryan's is going to get it. So, but I got D'Amico. He just turned it over so much, and honestly, I wasn't really aware of what their record was until I watched the game last night. So, good job for them. All right, so MVP, offense, defense. James, we'll start with you. Your offense and defensive MVPs.
Oh man, offensively, it was Tyreek Hill's. Lamar Jackson could win it, but he had a pedestrian year. But oh man, you know what? I'll give it to Tyreek Hill. I think he carried the Dolphins into this. I felt like, and then defensive player, I think T.J. Watt of the Steelers. I mean, he impacts every game. He's probably the best defensive player. Crosby is right there. Donald, of course, is right there. Khalil Mack on some Sundays is there. But I think T.J. Watt, he is definitely the most important player on the Steelers. Literally guided them into the playoffs. So I'm gonna go T.J. Watt.
All right, Chris, your offensive and defensive MVPs.
Defense would be Watt. Offense would be. We'll go Stroud.
Okay. All right, Tim, your two Usis.
Wow, I figured I'd be getting sniped, and so far I haven't been sniped. That's weird.
All right.
my defensive MVP is Josh Allen from Jacksonville.
Good one.
Third in sacks. He's basically what the defense was built around in Jacksonville. If they ever got him a little bit more help, like they had last year, where Jacksonville's defense was a lot better, I think we wouldn't even be having a conversation about Houston being a potential AFC South champion. My offensive MVP is Christian McCaffrey. What he does on every side of the ball, it's just scary. He leads the league in rushing. He's third in rushing touchdowns. And he's probably the fourth backup quarterback that they've got. It's crazy. Even people on his own team say that he should be winning the MVP, and I think there was a tweet out there going where Barry Sanders said that it's going to be almost near impossible for somebody like McCaffrey to win an MVP because Barry won one and he had to share it. I think Christian McCaffrey has done so much for that team when it's just crazy that he's going to get overlooked, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I definitely got McCaffrey. I think he means a lot to that team. I think we're all still dumbfounded that Carolina let him go very quickly, but he definitely means a big part. And like Tim said, he's probably the fourth quarterback if needed on their roster because he can do everything. Um, for me, off defensive side, TJ Watt. I mean, he means so much to that Steelers defense, and with the injury last night, is going to look. We'll see what they look like in the playoffs. Um, but but an honorable mention. I'm going to go. I just want to throw out that as much as I've given Kirk Cousins a lot of disrespect because of his contract and stuff, our passing game has nothing without Kurt, and I still think they don't need to sign him. I think we need to rebuild, but I have a feeling he's going to get paid again in Minnesota here because they're going to see that they need him, unless we get Russell Wilson. But anyway, so with that being said, let's wrap it up. James, final thoughts.
Oh yeah, TJ Watt has been diagnosed with a grade 2 MCL sprain, so I don't know if he'll be able to play or not next week. But the Raiders lost Jack Squark yesterday. If you know, in the Super Bowl in '84, he had the intercepted screen pass for a touchdown on Joe Theismann, so he passed away. He played 4 years, but they were impactful for the Raiders while they were in LA.
All right. Tim, your final thoughts.
Yeah, my season's over, so that's good. I'm here. I'm only here so I don't get fined. Other than that, I'm looking forward to some of these games. I'm looking forward to hoping the right teams win and whatever. Wednesday we're back up. We're back up on C2C. We got a mind blowing show because it was mind blowing when you sent it to me.
All right. So Chris, your final thoughts.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. Good comments in the comment section. Should be a fun Sunday. If you want to support C2C, you can send us stars. That will help the channel. Our network grow and yeah. So just stay with Coast to Coast. We got a lot of great things coming.
Yeah, definitely stay with Coast to Coast. We got a lot of things coming, like Chris said. Have our fun roundtable, have Kicking It coming on Thursdays Thursday nights. If you guys want to hear some wacky movie reviews, that's definitely a great one to watch. Entertainment Hour with James, he does a good job there. And like Tim said, we got C2C Raycom on Wednesday. We got a little fun one. I think it's going to be interesting to see where we go with this one. No, it's not our weird laws. It's a what if category. So tune into that Wednesday mornings at 9 o'clock Central Time. So with that being said, Four Bros is coming back, rebranded with the voice of J-Mac, who's the voice of the Area Cougars football, which will be shown here when the season kicks off. But with that being said, Chris, let's end it. Have a good one, guys. See you next week.